Oh, Arthur, you devious individual. And is that hand? And is that the goat? What's up, guys? Uncle Pencil here, and here we are to do a breakdown and review for chapter 131 of 4 Nights of... which is known as Looking for Hope. And y'all, this chapter is so much gas. But there is so much to talk about, so let us not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. Editing me. Ready. 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy, I'll shoot. That guy with a pencil. Yeah. Fun fact, I do have it on me. And I keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact. You can check out the live reaction to this very chapter for as long as $1 a month over on the Patreon. Or you could become a member for as little as $3 a month. Check out the live reaction. It is a solid 36 minutes. It's going to take forever to export because golly. But I have a bunch to talk about, so let's not waste any more time. Let's actually hop into the chapter itself. Psych, we're hopping in the cover page. What is the general consensus on Ironside? It's a partner. Pellegarde. How do y'all feel about Pellegarde? Do y'all like Pellegarde? This is a question from me to y'all. Like, do y'all like this beefy old boy right here, this stocky Stalkerton? Because I love Pellegarde. I think he's the GOAT. Maybe not the GOAT. I really like Nonsense. Nonsense is kind of heat. Kind of heat is an understatement. It's literally my favorite character from the new cast of the series. But like, how do we feel about Pellegarde? How do we feel about him? Do we like him? Do we like him a lot? Or do we not? Because I love him. What do you guys think? What do you know about Pellegarde down below? I really do want to get the opinions on Pellegarde because I only know mine. I don't see him talked about that much, despite like how inarguably important he is to the series. Kind of, sort of, not really, but like mostly he's the reason Percy awakened his magic in the first place. So like, how y'all feel about Pellegarde? Because I love Pellegarde. I think he's the GOAT. Second only to Nonsense, but and Lancelot because I love Lance. But with that being the case, W cover page. Look at these two silly billies, these two idiots, these two fools. Who think they're relevant against the 7. Well, to be fair, Pellegarde knows better. Now, this idiot right here, he may have a few screws loose because he did a few stupid things. But of course, we are in chapter 131, Looking for Hope. And hold on. Let me put on the narrator voice. Clad in red and black armor, they serves the king of chaos. No, I didn't read that wrong. It says serves. There's an S. Don't get mad at me. But ooh, this chapter's got me rubbing my hands. We got a whole bunch of things, so let's go. So we cut back to the wonderful, mystical, magical land of Camelot, and we see that the whole crusty crew has re-arrived within the world of Camelot through a interesting phenomenon. It looks like they teleported, even though we know they go through portals. Like they open gates. But it looks like they have a teleport effect on them. But then again, I'm not sure. It's kind of just a weird thing. And once again, Camelot is a world of dreams and illusions and lies. So who knows how their teleportation system actually works, or their transit system. It's a very strange little thingamajig. But we do get to see that our boy Ironside, he's feeling the repercussions of throwing himself against Big Daddy Bond. They see why they called him King Bond with the long... Let me not talk about that. Only Miss Elaine knows about the length. But with that being the case, we see he is feeling the repercussions, and he goes, "Darn! I didn't know my stomach could go out that far. Why did he knee me so hard? It's almost as if I caused his son inexorable agony by slaying or being directly or indirectly responsible for the slaying of my own not son, who I also slayed in the past. Don't they all slay their kids?" And we see that Pellegarde and Ironside, they go, and they pop off the helmets, because obviously things are looking a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit rough after fighting Bon, the fox, son of greed. It was looking a little bit tragic and panic, and may have been automatic. And we see that Ironside, He's a bit, just a teeny bit, just a little bit, just maybe just a teeny tiny. He's a bit delusional because he proceeds to declare, Melton Duff, why did you do something as unnecessary as this? And remember, what Melton Duff did this for. Ironside, your stomach's supposed to be here. Ban hit you so hard that your stomach ended up off screen. While its points, your upper body and your lower body, they were still in the same place, and it just stretched. So, like, Melton Duff had good reason. And we see that Melton Duff is like, oh, my apologies. With how things were going back there, it looked like he was going to rip out your spleen and feed it to you. Then most likely your tongue, and then your liver, and probably multiple other bodily organs. Honestly, Ironside, if you weren't a major antagonist, I'm pretty sure you would be cooked. And we see that things aren't looking... Oh, wait, they do just flat teleport it. I didn't even notice that. But yeah, they do flat teleport it. So it's weird. They have a portal that they go through, but then they just teleport. And on a random spot, too. Interesting. But with that being the case, we see Pellegarde pop the helmet off, and he's like, dude, don't put the blame on him. I was the one who ordered the retreat. Had we not withdrawn, then you certainly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, would have been cooked, my boy. And yeah, let me get through before I start absolutely clouding on this absolute madman here. Are you saying I'm not powerful enough against the sins? Don't underestimate me. Once I fight him again, I will surely... Ironside, you summoned not just a random summon, not just a secondary summon. You summoned the king of summons to deal with this man. The king, hop the fattest loot, you wheeled back and spat all over Ban. And the most you did was rip his clothes. He didn't leave a mark. Ironside, even the one time you hit him, it did no damage. He was perception blitzing you. Ironside, are you Delulu? Like, notably, I know some people who have been down atrocious. Men, women, and other people in between. I've known them, and they've been down bad to the point where the delusions were insane. One person told me they were certifiably in a relationship with this individual, and I can swear to you, on my left big toe, that they had never spoken to that person once. So I've seen some delusional people before. But Ironside, I don't know how you literally get your back blown out and suddenly believe that the next time I get him, I'll be able to do better. Like, dog, what? Ironside, bullying is an understatement. Bullying doesn't even begin to articulate what was happening to you. It was darn near abuse, like Ironside. I feel like if it was wrong to show that on my channel, that was not child friendly. Like, dog, Ban was mollywopping the taste buds out your mouth, dog. And you believe that you're him? After that, like, notably, I get it, especially like the people of the highest confidence, they typically do need a reality check or two to really let it sink in after the initial one. And they need the awakening, but like, I can't imagine someone gets beat within an inch of their life by someone who is clearly not going all out. Core Truce was not used once, at least not properly. Not a single proper spell was used on Ironside. Ban wasn't even attacking the way he conventionally attacks most people. Once again, because Ironside's the main protagonist. Well, not main protagonist, main antagonist. And I'll say Ironside couldn't perish there. Like I said, I knew the only person who could have gotten got was Melton Duff. Not the only person who could have gotten got in that scenario. But I knew both Pellegarde and Ironside weren't falling there, just like I knew Ban wasn't falling there. And it's because of their importance to the narrative. But like, no. Just because you're important enough not to perish does not mean you're suddenly him, bucko. I have no idea how he's this delusional. But of course, Melton Duff the GOAT is like, okay, broski, you clearly are off one right now. So let me tell you something that you may not want to hear, but I feel like you need to hear. I'm afraid to say that, despite us being ordered not to involve ourselves with them, I made use of my magic on Ban. And I need y'all to get ready for this. If you're standing up, sit down. If you're sitting there, if you're sitting down, so on the floor, if you're already on the floor, burrow into the earth. I need y'all to hear this. Because this is, I mean, it's not necessarily the craziest for scaling just because of how we know certain things work, but like, you can see Ironside, he's biggity bamboozled. He doesn't just have one, he doesn't just have two, but he has 3 whole explanation points. 3 of them. Whoa, what could be so pressing that the almighty Ironside is shot with 3 explanation points? But of course, the goat, the madman, the beast, the bulky black knight himself, Pellegarde, even begins to sweat just a teeny tiny little bit. And we get to know why. Because there's a reason that Melton Duff was traveling around with the 4 perils. Because Melton Duff, in a similar vein to Ardbeg, in a similar vein to Talisker, in a similar vein to... That's mostly it. Because I'm trying to think of the other... What other power... Well, I guess even in a similar vein to Jericho, at this point, has a very, very powerful magic. We find out that Melton's ability is known as weakness. As he says, I used weakness to reduce his strength to a 10th of the original level. A 10th. Mathematicals. Now, I ain't the sharpest spoon in the kitchen shed, but he ain't say half, he ain't say a third, he ain't say a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, a seventh, an eighth, a ninth. He said to a 10th. A 10th. Take Bun and divide him by 10. That's how much strength he was using to walk Ironside like a dog. So I put Ironside on a leash or something. What? Like, don't get me wrong. There was not even a fraction. And admittedly, this comes from the fact that I read the original series, so I have a lot of advantage over people who haven't read the original series. But like, remember what Ironside's biggest trauma was caused by? The dying Demon King. Clearly, bro's not a Demon King tier threat. That's about the only thing that could push Bond at this point. Remember, Bond, pre-18-year time skip, was already swapping blows with the prime Demon King, keeping up with and outpacing characters like Full Wings King, Final Shine Escanor, is responsible for the death of the... Arguably, I mean, it depends on how you take the statements. Like, you could argue the Mount Britannic Demon King is like the weakest variation or the strongest variation, depending on like you go feats versus statements. Like Merlin says, oh, he's struggling to cobble together a weak body. It's such a shallow attempt at victory. Meanwhile, you have like him being able to somehow restrain and quash Final Shine Escanor, Final Shine, the one ultimate Escanor, which is kind of weird. But at the same time, base Meliodas is able to take Darkness Zero. So like, I don't know. It's like the final form of the Demon King is very, very weird. But like, regardless, I knew in my heart of hearts that if Bond were to whip his meat out and smack it up against Ironside, it probably would decapitate him. Like, I knew it. But to think that Bond was styling on Broski with a 10th of his potential. Bro, what now? Admittedly, Ironside's pretty weird. Pretty strange. He's a pretty strange fellow, if you will. Because there are 2 ways to take him. Either A, he scales kinda nowhere, because like we don't have solid confirmation of the idea in Route B, so he doesn't really have any scaling to the original series characters. He survived Bond, but once again, this is a Bond at a 10th of his potential after an 18-year time skip, so we have no idea what that really means. And who does he fight? Percy and Varghese at the beginning of the series, and then Percy and crew in the early series before they got numerous amps. Like, remember, the Percy that Ironside beat is like, I think like 2 or 3 stages weaker than the Percy that got one-tapped by Gallon just punching him, to the point where he got a death amp and came back exponentially stronger. And like, we know every time Percy gets a death amp, he gets massively stronger too. So like, that's Ironside's best scaling at this point. He fights kind of nobody. And like, I guess you could say he's relative to Pell, but even then, that's debatable based on their interaction, where Ironside swung and Pell was like, come on, Bro. You and I both know you ain't like that. So, like, we don't really know where Ironside scales on that front. So if you just go with that, it's like, it's whatever. It's not too impressive. But if you go with the common fandom idea that, well, since Ironside clearly ranks higher in the army, the Chaos Army, if you will, to the point where Chaos Commandments are kind of just like a footnote, something you can drop randomly alongside people who, seemingly enough, aren't on Ironside's tier or level in terms of just status. You know, he's one of the 4 evils, the 4 perils. Meanwhile, Jericho's kind of just random. Then you could argue that Ironside is at bare minimum commandment level because he should be on the same tier as the commandments, or at least the Chaos Commandments. And presumably at the lowest, I'd say you could put the Chaos Commandments, at least Chaos Gallon. Chaos Molasses is kind of weird just because of how inefficient her abilities are now. But Chaos Gallon verbatim states he's stronger than he was before. If you don't like that, he has to be at least equal. And if you don't like that, he at bare minimum, the lowest point you can put him is at no Magic Gallon. If you really just want to just grab him by the throat and just like say Gallon's a bold-faced liar when you hold back everything. And the reason I bring all this up is because if you want to argue that Ironside should be at bare minimum a commandment level threat, then realize Ban at a 10th, remember, a 10th of his strength is bullying a commandment, perception blitzing him, taking no damage from his attacks. Essentially, picture No Magic Gallon that showed up in Camelot all those years ago, swinging on Ban. He would likely break his halberd. That's how much more powerful Ban has gotten. And once again, just a 10th. Let's say that's a bare minimum equal to half the Supreme Deity. You go with the commandments, he totaling a 10th of their respective leaders' power. Well, 20th, legally speaking, because the leader keeps half their power and then splits it 1/2 in half. So, like, Ban at a 10th of his strength is casually above commandments here. Easily. And once again, Ban was holding back massively. You could even tell by their interactions. And Ban not sweating, not a vein popping up, not a single magical technique used. Ban, at a 10th of his strength, walking Ironside like a dog. He could, I've heard some people say, like, the commandments to still give Ban a good fight. They would not. They clearly would not. And obviously, once again, like I mentioned, regardless, this doesn't actually do much for Ban scaling or clarifying where he actually is. Like, to be fair, we've been known that Ban scales well above, like, the commandments and the archangels and anybody. Like, once again, man was able to go blow for blow with the Demon King and Melios' body, and was able to do damage and keep up with other people who were able to damage the Prime Demon King, who's massively stronger than any of the, than literally all the commandments combined. So it doesn't do too much for his scaling, but it is just an impressive statement. Even at a 10th of his power, he's just that powerful. While the previous stuff kind of relied on scaling and speculation, this is just like knockable hard telling us. If you go with the idea that Ironside's commandments here at bare minimum. If you don't, that's fine, whatever. It doesn't really just change Ban scaling all too much. It just adds more emphasis to it. Though we see that Ironside, once again, I guess he just had some short-term memory loss. Maybe he got a bump to the head or something. Because he's like, impossible. Are you saying I was up against a legitimate monster? Like, Ironside. Is the world of dreams and delusions getting to you, bucko? Like, dog, your king, the king of chaos, gave you one order. One. Singular. Do not mess with the 7 deadly sins. Ironside. These are the same people responsible for executing the thing that ended up executing your wife in its death throes. The Demon King threw poison out by accident when it was perishing, and while it was in Britannic Demon King mode, and it still got your wife. Bucko. What is so like, I don't know. Maybe Ironside is just dumb. Like, genuinely, maybe he's just an idiot stupid at or something. Because how? How is he shocked? Like, I get, because he's like, oh, well, you're human just like me, so maybe you must be fodder too. Dog, what? Well, I get it. There's no reason for him to know about Bond spending 1,000 years in purgatory. There's no reason for him to know about maybe even the level of the sacred treasure or anything like that. Because once again, we're in medieval times. There's no cameras. There's no footage or anything. And only Tristan and Lance got the full series in 4K in their head. Like, that's it. That's it. But, dog, if your king is giving you one order. One. This isn't a complex order either. He literally just said, don't mess with them. You're not on that level. Why would you suddenly think you're on that level? Because you're one of the 4 perils? They're the 5 deadly sins, not the 4 deadly sins. Ironside, hop off your high horse, bucko. Golly. Bro must be stupid. He's gotta be an idiot. There's no other way I can rationalize this. Bro just simply must be... at the wheel, because there's no reason he should be stuff. Of course not. And we see that Pellegarde declares, the 7 deadly sins sure are fearsome. It's no wonder why His Majesty is at a loss of what to do about them. So, this is interesting too. This little statement right here. Arthur's at a loss. He has no idea what to do. Remember, the invasion of Britannia was meant to start the moment that Percy went, bye, I'm in heaven now. So sorry that I had to leave, but I decided to abandon all of you. Because obviously that'll make Arthur stop, right? It wouldn't just allow him to encourage and enable the invasion of Britannia while I'm gone, because that was one of the only things that was holding him back from doing anything. Goodbye. Hopefully you all don't join me too soon. Even though you will most likely join me way too soon, because you guys are going to want to avenge me because I'm just randomly leaving due to the actions of Camelot. Bye. Wee. And like, obviously, with that being the case, Arthur was supposed to invade, and clearly he has been, right? Like, there are huge chunks of Britannia missing. But the fact that Arthur's just at a complete loss is wild. Because it means one of two things. Either A, which may be the more probable route, the sins are just that them. Like I know that sounds like, especially as a 7 deadly sins guy, you may be like, well, of course they're that them, Pencil. What are you expecting? But like, this is Chaos King Arthur. I need to remind you what a cat, just a cat, by the way, a cat with some telekinetic powers, a cat with what? Like, notably, I guess he eats the full arm, but notably when you see the original series, like, Arthur only lost like his forearm and hand. A cat with maybe, if you highball that he ate the whole arm, just a cat with a fifth of Chaos's power was able to kind of just dog walk a majority of this. Like, remember, he just future hacks them. He like looked in their general direction and they all got future hacks. Like, the only ones who didn't, and no, even they did. Arthur and Mel got future hacks too. It's just that Mel broke out, and no one else did. Remember, you can go back if you forgot, because I don't like, it's been a while since I've even read it. But I specifically remember this every time because it's one of the main things that makes Cath so dangerous in versus battles. Not just the fact that he's basically impossible to kill. You kind of have to seal him, or absorb him, but also the fact that he can just look at you and lock you in a futuristic genjutsu. Yeah, remember, Cath was able to do that to all the sins, and none of them broke out. Now, sure, that was the sins after an extremely intense battle with the Demon King where they're supposed to be super fatigued for like a week. But once again, that was like 1/5 being generous of Chaos's overall power. You're telling me that Chaos King Arthur can't beat the sins in a 1v1? Like, notably, I know that 5v1, it would probably be a bit concerning. And obviously, if Ironside, one of the 4 perils, and Pellegarde's own reaction to just one of them existing is any indication, it's most likely that they all together would just mollywop them. But the fact that Arthur isn't just diving into the world, grabbing one, taking one back to Camelot, and just fighting them head on, because once again, the others can't escape or can't reach him in time, like, dog. The sins must have just gotten way more jacked. And like, don't get me wrong, they're already jacked. Even, I forgot about this, but apparently even based on that, I watched Cursed by Light like once, and I'll be real with you. But apparently even Diane in base damages the Supreme Deity with some rocks. The 50% Supreme Deity. In base. and she can make herself a whole bunch stronger with Drill's dance. So, like, even arguably the weakest member of the Sins, well, except for, like, Sans Gother, because, like, Gother doesn't really punch anybody after, like, ever. I can barely remember when Gother punches anything. But even the weakest of the combat-oriented Sins, direct combat, I mean, even they are 16 years ago, well, now 18 years ago, strong enough to beat around and smack up some old-fashioned god tier. But the reason it's so shocking to me, right, is that if Arthur, once again, this makes me wonder if Arthur has full control over Chaos or not. If Arthur was in full control of Chaos, if he had the full kit, if he had everything memorized on some Axel from Kingdom Hearts type, if he had everything memorized, he would be able to, for all intents and purposes, think up another Prime Demon King. Why not? He can think of 5 of them. 1 for each sin. Send them all out. He could think up a Supreme Deity to go with them. Gank them. Go 5 Supreme Deities, 5 Demon Kings, go off and gank the Sins. Sure. Would Meliodas most likely one-tap them all? Absolutely. But someone like Gother, while protecting an entire village of people? Maybe not. Someone like King and Diane having to deal with both of them at the same time? Plus protecting all the Fairy Kingdom and all the Giants? Probably not. Lance would be there, so like it'd be kind of difficult, maybe, for them. Yeah. But then again, the Supreme Deity is resistant to everything Lance does. Like, literally immune to physical attacks and would be able to negate Shining Road, and that's the only kind of thing we've seen from him. And even Bond would kind of be weird, but we see Bond's able to damage it too, so like, I get it. All the Sins clearly are of that, like, god tier caliber, but the fact that Chaos Arthur is at a loss of what to do with them, kind of crazy if you ask me. Just a little bit crazy. It means the Sins have either gotten massively more amped, or the be in less slop off scenario, Arthur just doesn't have full access to his powers outside of Camelot, or even worse, full control of them at all, and thusly he doesn't have the ability to just think up another Supreme Deity, think up another Demon King, send him to go do his dirty work, or even amp his people to those tiers. He just doesn't do it. So there's got to be some sort of limitation with Arthur, or else we'd have a whole bunch of Supreme Deities and Demon Kings running around. Maybe some even fusing to become the chaotic Supreme King Deity, or deific king, the demonic Supreme deific King Deity. Like, obviously that's it, but I don't know. It feels a little tad bit strange if you ask me. And we see that a certain someone comes to join the conversation. I'm a scientist. Riku. Experiments are what I do. Yes. Are you going to keep licking each other's wounds? Losers. And then we see a certain someone strolls on down the path, and Ironside and Pellegarde lock in. We see Melton Duff be like, oh, golly, you willikers, fellows. You are Sir Bertolope, the Green Knight of the Four Pair. Why is he green, man? Why is he green? Man, why is he green? I just can't. Why is he green? Of all the colors you could have made, why is he green? I don't get that one. I don't get that. Like, notably, once again, I mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. I love Nako's character designs. Fantastic. Some of my favorites ever. I'm not going to say, like, in the series, or in New Gen, or yada yada. No, like, ever. Yeah, some of my favorite character designs ever. But, man, does the man barely know color. Why is he green? Green? Like, what is even the theming? Black, red, and green. Like, I have no idea. Why is he green? You want to know the sad thing? Knowing Nakaba, it's not going to be a pretty green. It's not going to be like a Piccolo green. It's not going to be a deep, rich forest green. It's not going to be Midoriya green. It's going to be that nasty, goopy, oopy, sticky, nasty swamp green they used on characters like Galland. It's going to be an ugly, nasty green. That's the main thing. I just know not. Once again, the man gave Bond a purple coat, when his whole iconography has always been red, and the easy red fit layup was right there. But he gave him a weird off-brand purple coat. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm genuinely hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hurt Bertolope has the best co-designing the entire series, but I don't know, bro's green. I know it's not easy being green, but gosh darn, he's ugly. I can see it already. So admittedly, the reason I'm so nettled about this is because the armor design itself is cool. I love the tattered cape on both the top frills and the bottom. I love the design of the armor. The smiley face is a little bit much, reminds me a little bit too much of Talisker, being completely real with you. But the armor itself is fantastic. I love the intricacies in the armor. I love the helmet, especially the weird, almost patchy Staria sky face with the horns protruding at the side and the dual horn mask. Like, it's just a fire design in of itself. But man, it's gonna be green. It's gonna be green. Couldn't be silver or red. Well, no, we have red. That's the thing. We have red. Couldn't be silver or just something basic. Like, man. I don't know. I'm just so torn on this. But with that being the case, we see that Sir Bertolope has come to tell Marluxia what he's going to do with the experiment known as Riku Replica. Ironside, the king is in a foul mood. It's in your interest to go back to the castle at once. I thought we were specifically reminded to not get ourselves involved with the 7 deadly sins, but I suppose one is dead and the other one's missing, so it's most likely the 5 deadly sins. And we see Ironside go, I don't care. I was him. I was gonna beat him. You wouldn't let me stay there and die, because that's all Ironside would have done. If you stay there, you would have just died. But with that being the case, we see that Bertolope, he's just not playing by these games. He's like, are you trying to tell me that you could hope to fight the sins on equal footing? Surely you must be joking. Actually, you know what? Why don't you go give it a try, you little greenhorn? I swear, I've lose Vexen so quickly inside this voice. I have no idea who this is. But I can tell you, it's not the scientist where experiments what he does. Yes. So, Bertolope, I like him already as a character. Once again, I do like that there is, like, despite Camelot being a united front behind Arthur and obviously around the ideas of chaos, I like that there is some discord amongst them. Like, this adds layers to the organization as a whole. Not everyone's all buddy-buddy, not everyone's friends. Both of these, well, 3 of the characters here are on the same tier of raw power, ability, and skill, at least according to Arthur, considering he made them all a squad. But even with that being the case, even with them being genuine equals, all working towards the same goal under Arthur, there's still animosity. There's still mockery. There's still that extra layer of humanity that makes the crew feel alive. Who knows the next time we're going to see Bertolope? We go long swaths without seeing my boy Pellegarde. So who knows? But with that being the case, I still think there's a very likely and very good chance that there's probably going to be a traitor amongst Camelot. One way or another. Maybe it's the 4 evils, maybe it's Bertolope, maybe it's a lower ranking member. Someone's gonna betray. Because it seems like there's too much subterfuge and intrigue going on beneath the scenes, beneath the waves of this conflict, which makes it extra interesting. Once again, it'd be kind of boring if everyone was on the same side and was all buddy-buddy. So seeing Bertolope be or Bertolope, I'm not trying to say his name, but seeing him be so devious, if you will, mocking of Ironside. How about you give it a try, Greenlawn? We see that Ironside just goes, what did you say? And we see that Pellegarde declares, don't fight him. It's a weirdly placed speech bubble, but it is Pellegarde saying, don't fight him. Just let him say whatever he wants. We need to get to attend to our injuries first. Now, hold on. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I did. You know what? I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go take a look at something. Don't get me wrong, but Pellegarde, you did not take a single hit in that conflict. You weren't stupid enough to fight Bond. What you mean, our injuries? Pellegarde, if you just don't want smoke with Bertolope, just let me know, dog. It's okay. But what do you mean, our injuries? But I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I do need to actually reread 130. But like, dog... What you mean our? What you mean our injuries? But of course, we do get to see that Ironside, he can't even remark back. He goes, oh shoot, I think that's my spleen. And we see that my uncle calls him Bertolope. Melton Duff says, excuse me, sir. What about me? And we see something interesting. Bertolope turns and says, you go hunt down the remnants. Find any knight of prophecy or their comrades who have been infiltrating Camelot for 2 years and ambushing and counterattacking us, and eliminate them no matter the means. You are to produce the wanted posters on Orlandi's visual informations and notify all areas. Understood. Now, once again, like I said, this chapter is jam-packed with a whole bunch of juicy junk in it. So wrong. Why did I say it like that? But regardless, I have questions. Question number 1. How stupid is everybody? Why'd you wait 2 years to do this? Like, why? What, like, as Bertolope says, you are to produce a science. I'm sorry. I don't know. That, once again, despite it not being a very good Vexen voice, I've actually started using the Vexen voice outside of recording. It's scaring me. Maybe I am a scientist. Maybe experiments are what I do. Yes. But with that being the case, why did they wait 2 years to produce wanted posters? Like, even on the idea, let's say the remnants, as they call them, which is a very cool name. Let's say the remnants of the 4 knights and their comrades have been attacking for the past 2 years, which is something we'll talk about for a second in and of itself. But why'd you wait 2 years to ask Orlandi for what they look like? Like, don't get me wrong, I know pictures are not a thing in this world. I know everything kind of needs to be drawn or painted or something along those lines. So once again, pictures just don't exist. There are no cameras in medieval times, as far as I know. But with that being the case, why wait 2 whole years? Like, I'm not gonna lie, maybe Orlandi has perfect memory. He has a vampire thing. But, like, why wait 2 years? They're teenagers. I don't know. I know for a fact that 16-year-old pencil and 18-year-old pencil looks very, very different. If only for the fact that, like, he grew 3 inches and turned 3 feet tall and gained, like, 10 pounds and turned 48 pounds. Like, it wasn't really that much of a change. And with that being the case, I gotta wonder, why'd you wait? Like, I don't know. It feels like it's a foolish move. Like, notably, I kind of get, but then again, we don't see any place where these wanted posters would have been hung, so I don't fully understand the reason. I think the in-narrative reason, or like not the in-narrative, the meta-narrative reason is because Nakaba didn't want to spoil their designs too early. If I had to take a guess, that's why. But, like, you just don't show us the wanted posters. Gray them out, just don't show us. Like, he doesn't show us these wanted posters anywhere near later on this chapter, and obviously because they're yet to be produced, but why wait 2 whole years and use outdated visual information? I don't know. Feels a little bit strange. Obviously, I know, once you get to a certain point, you just don't stop changing. Well, you kind of stop changing physically for a while. If anything, you stay the same for like 40 years, then you start declining or aging. But with that being the case, like, these are known teenagers. Like, part of the prophecy literally specifies that they're, like, young, or, like, 16, or, like, apprentice knights, or something like that. Like, this is old news, dog. Why would you wait 2 years when they could have changed fundamentally? Number 2. The remnants of the 4 knights and their comrades have been invading Camelot for the past 2 years. A big question I was wondering, especially after the end of 129, is, well, at the end of 129, in the mention of Lancelot, in 130, what have the crew been doing for the past 2 years? Because remember, we ended off with the whole squad right at the Camelot door on the Behemoth's back. We never got closure to that. Notably, it was nearly destroyed by the Testament Beast, but it wasn't actually destroyed. That was just something that was left hanging there, wide open, a gaping maw, if you will. I was wondering, did the cast go through it? Did they not go through it? Did Arthur ended up closing the rift somehow? Was it destroyed? What ended up happening? But no, it's revealed here that the knights have been diving in, infiltrating, and attacking. And once again, this is a question. How dumb and how stupid are Arthur and his knights? Because how would you miss them? Like, notably, I get some of them. Obviously, unless Arthur himself appears, if Lancelot just shows up one day and is like, hey, everybody, you're responsible for the loss of my brother from another mother. shining road. Obviously, no one there is going to be able to stop him, even at the start of the 2-year time skip. That's a reasonable thing to make. And, if someone like Tristan shows up, especially, on the right kind of timing, whether it be Demon Mark or Nephilim or any way, shape, or form, we saw at the end of the battle with the Testament Beast, bro has the ability to not just conventionally wipe you from existence, but just like erase space and matter itself by combining light and darkness into something that's literally known as annihilation. He just drops those down, and boop, 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 whole things just get erased properly. And who knows what kind of time he was on after Percy got cooked. Once again, they don't have too deep of a relationship, but combo that with Jade getting cooked, and who knows what kind of time Tristan was on. So, I get that. Heck, Gawain, I especially get that one. Not only are they one of the most powerful mages we've seen in the entire series, probably flat out number 3, probably even above Vivian at this point. Maybe not above Vivian, because Vivian got like a chunk of buff, but probably at least top 5 sorcerers admittedly there aren't many sorcerers, but at least top 5 sorcerers in the entire series with abilities like teleport, absolute cancel, and obviously the sun knockoff in Dawn, like that amp. So obviously I get Gawain running around causing havoc and going crazy and not being able to stop her, because like the moment she is done with whatever she's doing, she just teleports out. I get that. But you're telling me you couldn't catch Donnie? The Donners, especially considering what's revealed to be the state of things at the end of this chapter, it doesn't seem like the remnants are traveling together. This is even implied here. Find any Knight of Prophecy or their comrades who have been infiltrating and invading Camelot for 2 years. So they've been diving in and out, like, separately. Which makes sense, because, you don't want them all to get captured if one of them does get captured. But you're telling me y'all are getting low div by the Donners? By the Donners? Isold's a commandment tier threat. So I don't knock y'all for getting sold by Isold. But Isold? My boy Kyle was just dropping it on y'all? Really? Like, y'all are actually getting mollywopped? And the thing is, Arthur, this is your realm. Now, like, obviously, I know if someone were to enter my house, that doesn't mean I'm automatically going to sense someone entering my house. Right. Seems legit. Makes sense. Right. But, hi, my name's that guy with the pencil. I'm not an extra-dimensional creature known as the King of Chaos who literally made my realm and thusly should know when people are invading it, especially people of any decent power. Like, the fact that Arthur, of all characters, still needs to rely on Orlandi for visual information when he literally just is chaos. Bro, what? Like, dog, really? You're telling me you couldn't just appear in front of them? Like, the excuse we gave Arthur, at least the excuse I gave Arthur back in Leonis, is like, oh, well, he's in Leonis. He's not in his main realm. Obviously, he's likely spending a whole bunch of energy maintaining that, and most likely can't express his full power outside of Camelot. Okay, but no, they've been offering themselves to you on a silver platter, and notably infiltrating and ambushing for 2 years gives you a bunch of opportunities to catch them at one of the gates that's open to your realm. So why? How do they keep escaping? You need to hire some better help, bro, because this is embarrassing. This is awful as a performance. The year in reviews, negative, in the dirt. But of course we see that the GOAT Melton Duff with a very broken magical ability. Once again, low-key looking for Arthur to kind of be like another major popular antagonist who has the ability to take the abilities of his lesser soldiers whenever they perish, because that would be very, very cool. But with being the case, we see that Melton Duff says, understood. And we cut to sad. we cut to, all right, let's hit pencil with an existential crisis, and let's stab him in the heart. Because we get to this beautiful little village. In fact, the weather's nice today, old lady. Indeed, old man. I'm happy with everything here. It's as though you being dead was all a dream. Darling, you don't have to go anywhere ever again, okay? Just stay with me for a very long time. Forever. Of course, my love. Yes. Forever. So, I'm going to smack it on the table for now. I got a question for you. I've asked this before, and I'm probably going to ask it again, because I'm going to ask it every single time Arthur brings it up. Would you want to live in Camelot? I feel like everyone at some point in life has lost somebody or something to the unrelenting and cruel and unforgiving nature of the end of life. And I ask you this. Would you want to live in a world where the person you knew, or the animal you had, or anything that you lost was there? Well, I think this kind of has to be a specific thing, because, like, shoot, I've lost numerous headphones before, and, like, I don't care if they're real or not. If you could give me another copy of those headphones for free, I'd take them. But would you live, or would you want that thing, or that person, or that creature that you loved, you cared for, more than anything else in the world? Would you want them back if you knew it was a lie? If you knew it was a dream? If you knew it was a false reality and that you were now eternally locked in stagnation? Paralyzed, unable to progress ever again, because progress would inherently destabilize the lie and the dream that you live in. You're unable to change, you're unable to move forward, but the good thing is that your person, the thing that you lost to the cruel, harsh nature of this world, is back, and they're back forever. They never, ever have to leave or perish or anything like that. Would you want that? This is a genuine question, because I've talked to friends about this. I've finally gotten some friends on Fortnite. The anime started coming out, and they said, "Fine, I'll watch the anime." And then they're like, "The anime's coming out too, so fine, I'll read the manga." So, hallelujah. And obviously, an idea like this has been mentioned before, so I asked them about it. And I've gotten two separate answers. Two main ones. There have been like miniature answers in between and something like that. Like there's been a bunch of headphone answers. Like, hey, if I could get back X bike, X toy, X gaming device, yeah, of course I'd want that back. Heck, I still look at that computer that broke all those years ago. I would have loved that back. But in terms of people, in terms of animals, like once again, I've lost my beloved dogs. I love the both of them. Oh, and well, to be fair, I've lost multiple dogs, but they were with me the longest. And the answer I've gotten on both ends, there's the side that agrees with Arthur and agrees with this woman. The woman is clearly the one who was brought into Camelot. She's clearly the one who has the hope and dream of her husband who passed away. This is the person who's brought in. She agrees with the idea that I don't care if it's fake. I don't care if it's not real. As she says, she acknowledges, she 100%, it's not like she's not been soup drained. She's not been mind wiped to forget that her husband ever died at all. She very specifically says, it's as though you being dead was all a dream. She knows for a fact that that's not her husband. At least not in the way that it was. She tries to write it off by saying it's as if it was all a dream. But she knows for reality, her husband died. And he's most, well, so that's the thing about Seven Deadly Sins. We know in the Four Nights Seven Deadly Sins world, there is an afterlife. So there's a possibility that Arthur literally reaches into the capital of the dead, grabs out the soul, and then puts him in a fake body. But I doubt that. I really, really do. Especially considering what's revealed later on and how Arthur's permanence leads to a permanence that is very unsettling. But that being the case, I've gotten two answers. I got an answer A. I would want that. Because the loss and pain that I feel knowing that they are not there, either on the other side of the phone, or downstairs waiting for me, or even in the bed when I wake up with them every morning, is more insurmountable than any false reality could ever hope to be. And thusly, I would want that. And I've heard the other answer, and the answer that I tend to align with, that, man, it hurts that they're gone. I wish I could go and see them again. But knowing that they would be brought back in this state, like the state of, especially what we get into later kind of extra contextualizes it. And this was even in the initial discussion, but a state that me and some of my friends agreed with. Knowing that it wasn't real, knowing that it was an illusion or dream, even if it was the most tangible illusion ever. Like, I'm not sure how many people have lucid dreamed before, or even just dreaming in general. But in those moments, it feels real. It feels heck. I feel like everyone's had this dream once or another, but I can say this. I've had a dream. Oh, I've had a dream where I was married. I was happy. I had kids. 3 of them. They were beautiful. They looked just like their mama. And my life was great. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. That dream was fantastic. And when I woke up the next morning, I was so mad. I went to work so sad that day. It was like, darn, I lost it all. My brain played a massive trick on me, that devious little fella. But still, I wouldn't have wanted that world. Especially if I knew it wasn't real, which I started to realize towards the end of it. Because, like, certain things were being referenced that I didn't remember, and they were too major. Like, in that dream, my wife asked me, don't you remember our wedding day? And I was like, I actually don't. And I know I would have paid for it. So me not remembering that is strange. And like, were weird foggy details in the dream that made me realize, shoot, I'm dreaming. And then like I woke up not like 10 dream minutes after that realization. It's like my brain was like, code red. He's realizing, wake him up. But well, admittedly, it was the alarms. So no matter what, I was going to stay in that dream forever. But with that being the case, I don't know. I wouldn't rock with that idea of the dream. Eternal life is something that I've always wondered about. I personally think the idea of being the sole immortal sucks. Because you have to watch everything else around you fall. And of course, like, you have to be around to the heat death of the universe. Who knows? You may survive after that, too. If you're like immortal, if you're one of them freaky deaky immortals from fiction where you still have to stay alive forever, that's going to be awful. But like in a world of just absolute permanence, of Camelot, like this perfect dream world where everything is just as you want it forever. You can wake up and have that same cup of tea, sitting alongside the same person you love, talking those same conversations forever, really. I'm about to say at world's end, but there is no world's end. That's the beauty of Camelot, right? Like, it never ends. You're just there forever. I'm not sure I don't want that. I wouldn't want that. I would want to, it's on my Erwin Smith type beat. I want to keep moving forward. I want to keep trudging along. Even though I've lost people and things that I loved before, man. I want to keep moving forward for them. I wouldn't want their memory or who they were or anything to be. It's a word I can't say. I mean, I probably could say it, but I'm not going to say it. Tarnished. There we go. I don't want their image or memory or thoughts tarnished by an illusion. Not even for the fact that the people or the things that I've lost were perfect individuals. They weren't. No, nothing's perfect in this world. It's one of the beautiful things about it. But with that being the case, I don't know. Living alongside an illusion, especially knowing it was an illusion, I don't think I could. If I didn't know, I didn't know. Who knows? Maybe living in an illusion right now. I may not be real. You may not be real. None of us may be real. Who knows? There's a whole bunch of different theories about what we actually are, and if we are just dreams within dreams. But at least from my comprehensive understanding of the current reality, I'd rather keep moving forward in that than live a life that's no more than a lie. At least that's my view. What do you guys think? Let me know. I don't know. Once again, I've asked this question before and I've seen your comments and reiterate them. Like, especially considering the context that's added here in this chapter. Because this isn't the only idea of immortality and a never-ending dream. I want you to let me know down below if you would live in this variation of Camelot based on this. My feet hurt, brother. A little more. I'm sure that once we pass the peak, we'll be able to go to Britannia. I want to live in Camelot forever. Do you dislike being with me, bro? Oh, this has such a dark connotation on it, especially if Arthur's doing what I think Arthur's doing. This is evil. But do you dislike being with me, brother? No, I don't. Because I could get to be with you again. You who should be gone in the fire. So this girl's not real. This girl perished in the fire. Who knows how many years ago. I really, really think, Lord Arthur, but our mom is waiting for us in Britannia. Mom? Besides, there's something weird with this world. That's why I'm asking you specifically Camelot. Maybe the alternate dream reality, maybe the Matrix or whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's different for y'all. But specifically in Camelot, because listen to what he says. Only I am aging up, and you kept the appearance from the day you died. I don't think these are the same people. At least it's not their same flesh. Once again, maybe you can make the argument that Arthur's more than powerful enough to reach into the afterlife and revive these people. Maybe you can make that argument. That he's, because once again, we know you can, anybody can enter the afterlife. Hawk with a power level of 30 at the time, whatever it was. He could enter the afterlife. He just had to stand in the right spot with someone who was sad enough. But the ability to rip it out, I'm not shocked. Once again, he's literally chaos. Fine. Once again, the context that we know that Camelot is a world of illusions and dreams. Don't you find that suspicious? Don't you find that just a little bit suspicious? That Arthur's powers are so underdeveloped that he can't even make proper humans? Like, notably, remember, Chaos made humans. Well, once again, as far as we know, who knows? Maybe everything we learn more about Arthur's own inability to do things is just a testament to how much of the Chaos story may or may not be true or false. But I think the Chaos story is true, or else the series wouldn't literally work. But once again, I think this is a testament to Arthur's lack of control over his own abilities. He can't even make properly functioning human vessels. I'm talking of humans. Once again, if he's ripping and or Control C, Control Ving the data, the soul data, feels so weird. I feel like I'm talking about like a Persona game. But like, if he can't just Control C, Control V the soul information into a new vessel and let it age normally, clearly bro's doing something wrong. He must not, like, Chaos must not like what he's doing or something, because there's no reason why he should be struggling this much to do basic stuff. I hate to say, once again, it sounds weird, but making a human that just ages like a human should not be this hard. And the thing is, we know that there are levels to this. I'm not sure how much this woman's aged or how much this guy's aged. Maybe they've been this way. Maybe they're new to Camelot. So this is a weird one. I'm not sure how this one goes. But if this is to be believed, this guy was a kid. A kid. He's got stubble now. He has a full-grown beard. So Arthur's world is so imperfect that hypothetically, if you lost someone at a young age, you would just keep aging. Arthur's, seemingly enough, may not be able to actually keep you immortal. That's a big caveat that comes with this Camelot one. You will still eventually not. Well, who knows? Maybe you stop aging after a certain point. I have no clue. But with that being the case, this kind of soft confirms something. Either it's a world scale thing or it's an individual person scale thing. But in one way or another, despite being in Camelot, people are tied to the time flow of the original world. That's interesting. So, people can still age in Camelot if they're real people, but if they're fake people, they don't age. So this kind of does, I was low-key holding on to the idea that Deodra may not actually be real, that he may just be an illusion, but Nakaba must have heard me talking about it. He decided to take the nearest gigantic weapon and just boom! Knock that theory straight out of the way. Because Deodra aged in his original body. Presumably. He aged in his original body. So Deodra is a real person because Deodra ages. But something about him is fundamentally tied to the nature of Camelot, which is what makes me wonder if this is a person-by-person thing, and maybe Camelot does run on a different time flow. Maybe Camelot runs in stop time, but people who are from Britannia will go on linearly with that original time. Unlike something in... I mentioned Vexen. I was about to say, I can't go one video without mentioning Kingdom Hearts. But sorry, that's where a lot of my voices come from, and it's where my heart truly lies, if you will. But unlike the Realm of Darkness, or in something like Kingdom Hearts, where if you enter it, and you're able to move, which is admittedly debatable, some things, it's questionable what can and can't move, because like time doesn't exist there. But Aqua was able to move in there, but also she didn't age. Like, notably, she didn't age so much. I know this is very specifically like a timeline and plot thing, so we can still have Aqua being the same age, so she's not like 30 when she goes back to the Realm of Light. But she does not age throughout that entire 10-year period. Her physiology is tied directly to the Realm of Darkness's time flow, which doesn't have one, so she didn't age. But In spite of this, either A, Arthur, when he recreates vessels or these illusions and dreams, since they are illusions and dreams, they're unable to age past the knowledge or mind of whatever Arthur's able to get from the individual. Because once again, presumably, there's so many questions. I have to make a whole video talk about this, so I'm going to go on for forever. But presumably what Arthur does is, since we see him, when he basically puts an advert out for Camelot, when he invades Leonis, he's like, hey, why don't you come with me? I can give you everything and everyone you lost forever. We see, if it's even subconsciously, his kingly presence allowed people to see lost loved ones. Remember, Derriere, or her reincarnation, whose name I forget at the moment, Thetis saw Monspeet. Monspeet was apparently in Camelot. But presumably, what Arthur likely does is he likely goes into the mind of whoever he's trying to associate with. He studies, well, maybe it's a subconscious thing. Once again, maybe this is why it's so imperfect. He probably just rips out the data of what they really want, who they really want to see again, and makes a copy of them. But then that's it. He doesn't know how that person would have aged, how the person would have changed, how they even react to Camelot. He has no idea about any of that. Because once again, he's building them off the memory of the person who lost them in the first place. And thusly, that's why they can't age or progress or do anything. And notably, due to the nature of this girl and how few lines he gets, or how few lines she gets, I'm not sure if she's mentally aged at all. Maybe she's mentally aged, but is stuck on the same physical body. Or maybe she, once again, going with the idea that Arthur just creates a spitting image of the memory of the person left behind. Maybe this girl is still the same mental age. Once again, I don't know how much this guy's aged, but it looks like he's at least nearing adulthood. He looks more adult than any of our cast did, yet he looks younger than any of our cast did. So presumably at least 10 years has passed since he's been in Camelot. And with that being the case, there's a high likelihood that these fake versions of them do not age. But Dildra does, so Dildra's real. So there's so many interesting implications. But once again, would you want to live there? Knowing that you would move on through time. You would keep living. You would eventually leave that memory and dream of yours behind. But at least they're still there in a world of dreams and lies. Once again, I feel bad whenever I characterize it like that, but it's what it is. Though we do get to see that they do. We did it. We reached the summit. What? What the heck is this? Now this is interesting. This seems to be a portal back to Britannia. How though? Once again, why is the world destroyed? Arthur? Is it because you're conflicted? There's so many questions. What's up with Arthur? What's up with Arthur? What's up with chaos? And why is it happening like this? What is going on? Why is Camelot so unstable? Chaos. Do you not like your vessel? Arthur, are you okay? And we see a certain someone shows up as they view upon this terrifying visage of a way back to Britannia, but presumably it is a way back to Britannia.
Where are you going? Leaving this land behind.
And of course, Bro goes, Nani Daisuke.
Could it be that you're having doubts about this beautiful and ideal land? In that case, it is the grave for a breach of trust towards His Majesty.
Once again, we have Nakaba freaking and geeking with the monster. Like, what is this? What is Nakaba? Like, how do you draw this stuff? How do you draw this? What is this, bro? Now, what kind of freaky deaky stuff? What the arms are bulging and everything. Nakaba, you need help. I'm telling you, bro, you need help. But
that is a grave breach of trust towards His Majesty, Daddy Arthur.
And we see that apparently this knight, is left to guard people from leaving the wonderful land of Camelot, the ideal land. Now, the mention of the word ideal land reminds me of the concept of ideal towns from another series that I really, really love, but it's in progress. And by in progress, I mean very in progress. It's by the same mangaka who wrote Magi. And please read Magi. It's probably my second favorite piece of fiction. God of High School has that #1 spot right now. I know I need to read more fiction, but still, let me go read Magi. and then go read Orient and be stuck with me, waiting for that to be complete. Gosh darn, why is it taking so long? But with it being the case, we see this individual come up, likely being the guard. So this already establishes that Arthur, he's kind of in like a, oh, you signed on, you aren't leaving. And we see that the guy's like, oh, Sir Holy Knight, please don't stick your weird bulbous head helmet in my cheeks. And we see that there, I mentioned that Arthur may be brain draining people, but he may have some re-education camps, as he says,
you will be dragged into the cauldron of Anfuin. You need to be given some education.
So, Arthur is forcefully re-educating people. I'm not sure what education means in this context. Maybe it's brain drain. Maybe it's just actual education. Regardless, you don't call a place the Cauldron of Anfuin if it's a pleasant place to be. So Arthur is forcing people to come here, and then if they don't like it, he's not letting them leave. He's going to indoctrinate them. And maybe this woman right here isn't actually happy. Maybe she went to the Cauldron of Anfuin, and maybe she was indoctrinated, because she seems awfully calm about all this. I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked. But of course, a certain feather of a certain somebody flies by. That made me cry. As we see the nasty bondage beast gets smacked, and we see that
Mr. Bulbous Head Boy.
This is so close to... Is this Vexen again? I shouldn't get... Is this Vex... What?
You will be dragged to the cauldron of Anfuin.
I'm a scientist. They all have the same voice. I thought I differentiated those enough. I mean, this guy doesn't matter. He won't show up again after this, most likely. He's probably dead. But, like, dog. No? An entire enemy attack. Sorry, I want to give him a different voice. Oh, an enemy attack. Could it be the room or the remnant of the Knights of Prophecy? Interesting he says remnant. That's just a weird thing that he says remnant. But look at, remember, this is somebody blitzing. This is somebody who can fly blitzing. Blitzing this guy. Styling on him. This freaky creature is too. We see in the air.
Very interesting.
I'm going to keep changing his voice every single time. I just don't want to give him Vexen. I don't know why. I've been doing too many characters become Vexen. Characters who've had their own original voices are becoming Vexen. It's scaring me. I don't know why. Help me. The Kingdom Hearts brain rot. It's becoming too strong. Everyone, slowly but surely, we are all Vexen. And I don't like that. With regular Pat, it's people turning into Miss Porter. It's people turning into Clayton. Brian blesses Clayton. And always saying Miss Porter. For me, everyone becomes Vexen. But, very interesting. And we see, they whip out a chain, and the chain goes, and lunges, wraps around. I'm sorry. Look at him. Look at him. Look at my boy. Look at my son. Look at that husk. That hunk of horse meat right there. That Pegasus Prime right there. Look at my horse, my goat. My goat. My goat. Chapter's worthy. We're hitting at the end of the chapter. Chapter's worthy. Man. Yo. Hit it for the 2-time. Yo. Hit it for the 3-time. Yo. Man. Shoot. I'm so hyped, he got me dual wielding. Call me Mescanor. Cause I'm gonna make a mess all over the screen. Because look at who it is. It's my goat. Look at Zahar. He was missing for so long. We were worried that they had lost him. We were worried that they had lost my son. But you see, he was never lost. He was only waiting to be found. And he's got a glow up. He was a Pegasus this whole time, I guess. I have no idea about that. That's so weird that he was just a Pegasus, I guess. But he was I guess he was just a baby. He was just genuinely a baby at the time that we saw him. 2 years. It's just an amazing globe. And he's so fast, too. Like, I know he's the strongest character in fiction, right? Like, he literally transcends our reality. But dog, why is he so Speedy Gonzalez? But once again, Nagaba, he just keeps dropping these interesting magics as he says, Predator. Why is Vexen? He's not Vexen. Predator. Oh, sugar. Predator. My magic transforms things and the savage beasts by granting them sugar, a temporary life. Now it's turning into the Joker. You know what? That'll be the next one. Well, I'm a man of my word. Once my chain has caught its prey, it'll never let go of it. It'll slowly strangle it to death. A very interesting power. Very interesting power. I wonder if you could use this on, like, sacred treasures. Could you turn them? Like, does the initial power of the weapon itself matter in the usage of Predator? We'll never know because the guy literally dies. Unless a certain someone ends up just being a certain someone else and gets the power later. I have no idea if we'll ever see this ability again. But we see a certain someone say, the coffin of Anfuin, a prison for people who hold doubts about Camelot or deny it. If you don't mind, could you tell me its precise location and the method to break out of it? And we see that the Sugar Man does not realize. Do you know, Batman? Do you know about these scars? Batman, do you know what situation you're in right now? You don't have the right to ask me. Quack. And he immediately gets crushed under his own wagon. I love the detail that the eyes straight burst out of the sockets. But we see that he gets slammed into the earth, and the person wrapped in the chain is freed. It seems like he passed out. In the event of the target not answering my question or lying in answering it despite knowing the truth, they'll be crushed to the ground. This is my magic. Interrogator. And there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Anglehand of the Percival Platoon has returned to us after so long. And it's good to see her, man. I'm happy. W Globe. Once again, she looks nothing like... I keep saying that, but I feel like there's one character in some of these things that she looks like, but I can't place it. If you know the character that Anne looks like here, please tell me down below. I'm probably forgetting it, but since I can't immediately place it, W and Nakaba for the character design. I like the keeping of her original little side tail, yet giving her just a full ponytail in comparison to... Actually, did she rock? She kind of had... Her hair was shorter, and the ponytail was lower. She did have a ponytail before, but the uptail is great. The new fit, it's nice too. It's simpler than the previous fit, but I think that works. Once again, right? She's purely optimized for travel and fighting, and that makes sense. And we see the goat land on down, and she asks, I'm talking about Savannah, by the way, and it's cool too, but are you okay? On some Terry type beat. And the guy says, oh, thank you for saving us. Do you mind telling us your name? And we see Anne declares, Anglehand, a member of the Knight of Apocalypse Percival's troop. Period. Man. Little details I do want to point out about both of their designs. Savant looks a lot more dignified. He was a very goofy character pre-time skip. I do like that he has a more serious look to him, but he still has a personality. Like you could see by the goofiness on. It's kind of goof. Maybe it's a bit of shock that Anne got grabbed, but still, I think it's a neat new design. I like how he's a bit more serious stuff. I love that he still has the heart detail. Interestingly enough, though, it looks like Nakaba forgot to color his black ears here. That's still fine. It's still a beautiful image. I understand. Once again, the black is mainly to be centered on Anne here, so you're drawn more to her character. Unlike usually where I think Nakaba just ran out of time, this is very clearly an image he completed and probably made the executive decision not to ink in the ears, so I think it works. I like the wings. They are, initially when I first read this, I thought maybe they were part of the satchel or the what's it called? Saddle, not satchel. I thought it was part of the saddle, but no, Sylvan is just genuinely a Pegasus. Very, very interesting. I do like that detail. I wonder if she always knew that and was just waiting for him to grow his wings or not. It's still W glove for Sylvan for 2 years. Once again, I like the fit overall. Nice, simple, clean. Same sword as before, same gloves as before, but new hairstyle. The main fit itself is different. It reminds me a little bit of. Actually, I can't think of any. Once again, I don't know who this reminds me of realistically. The corset being accented with the dragon brooch, the Ouroboros brooch. At least it's what it looks like to me. Or at least similar enough to the brooch that Percy had. Very, very sweet. I do like that. And overall, I'm super excited to see the rest of our casting crew. As the chapter ends, it has been 2 years. Anne, who grew up dependable with the magic interrogator as her weapon, appeared at last. So, this means we may get more Anne next chapter, or if we're going to continue the theme, we may do another chapter of Anne, and then we're probably going to cut away again, and we're probably going to do a whole leap around, just building back up Percy's return, most likely, and overall, I'm super duper excited. An amazingly W chapter. But once again, if you couldn't tell by my early drawing of it, no, that was not a meme. This chapter is straight gas. It gives us a whole bunch of information, both scaling-wise, narrative-wise, future plot-wise, and updates-wise on our characters, cast, and crew, what have they been doing, informing us that they are, in fact, in Camelot. They did take the use of that opportunity, and that they're causing havoc, which has me super duper excited for what we have to see next. However, that is what I think. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below, because I'm a content creator. Videos and reviews are what I do. Yes. But please, if you made it all the way to the end of this chunker of a video, please leave Return of the Truth in the comment section down below. I want to thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you do not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below, where you can support me for as low as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Some of those perks include the 36-minute live reaction to this very chapter. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for watching once again, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dagger the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, O'Connor Plains, Redwell 4765, and Greyhound. I'd like to give another thank you to our $5 patrons, Victor, Sean, Midnight Gemlord, Kevin, and Demix LND. And I'd like to give a juicy old thank you to our $7 member, Autumn's Morning Lazo. I'd like to give a healthy thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha, Joaquin, and Idemokami. I'd like to give a shonka donka honka thonka thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. I'd like to give a scrumdiddlyumptious super science thank you to our $20 patron, Calvin Elder.